And I think we are. It's recording. Hello. I don't know why Mrs. Doubtfire might say that. Hello. Welcome to the Book of Boba Fett After Show here on JLJ Media, your number one show on the whole network. I'm James Lott Jr., one of your hosts. I'm making sure the chat room is open if you want to say a few words about the show that we just saw today. That was very interesting. This is the penultimate episode, Chapter 6. From the desert comes a stranger. Of course, I'm not by myself. I heard my two Star Wars fans also, Frank Moran and John Dunphy. Hi, you guys.
Ooh.
We're here. I'm like Grogu. We're here. We're all here. He'll make appearances. We are here to talk about an episode directed by Dave Filoni, co-written by him also, that answered a bunch of questions, not from Boba Fett though, from other stuff. And characters just thrown in. I mean, it was like, you get a cameo, and you get a cameo, and you get a cameo. There were so many shows thrown into once that I completely had a nerdgasm. But that's a whole other story. We'll talk about that later. There is cream for that. Hello, you guys. Come on in. Haywood, my sister. How you guys? Come on in. A good time. But okay, just overall, folks. Okay, once again, it's the second week in a row. I'm like, how do we? We're gonna review the show, give our reaction, but it's not a Boba Fett after show. But so I was gonna say, how did you feel about the episode? Frank, you go first.
I dug it. I mean, I think if we, given the way these last two episodes have been, that it's, I feel like calling it the Book of Boba Fett was kind of a unfair thing to do to this series. I mean, it set up so many expectations for it rather than it just being part of a larger part of the story that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are telling with all these characters. But I feel like, when you call it the Book of Boba Fett, you're making audiences think, oh, hey, this is what we're getting. And so when you don't get that, even if though you're getting something you may like and characters you enjoy, it's not quite what you thought you were signing up for. So I enjoyed it, but I also think like maybe calling it the Book of Boba Fett might not have been the smartest choice.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. I mean, everybody say yes. Mandalorian season 3 part 2. John, overall, what did you think?
Overall, I absolutely loved it. I feel like I couldn't even put a number on it. How many times throughout the episode that I went, oh my God, because of like who was randomly showing up on screen or whatever. But I completely agree with you guys. Like, I find myself at times while I'm watching this going like, is this really the Book of Boba Fett? But it does make me excited and hopeful for, like what we could see in the last episode coming up. He's got to have some crazy big moment,
He's riding that Rancor. That's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if they don't give me that, then I will turn on this show.
Oh, there you go. I was waiting for Frank.
Yeah.
Frank was too optimistic on this show. I was like, something's wrong. There's nothing. I feel like I'm Frank these days, going, I don't know, but the Rancor is not happening. Something's not going to happen. I don't know what's going on. Again, you both said everything I kind of need to say. I enjoyed the episode for what it is, and timeline-wise, it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it all makes sense. And Ahsoka has her own show coming up, and she's in the same timeline as them. So there's a lot of things. I'm just like, okay, so let's get into it. Okay. Oh, well, hello. One of my favorite characters from Mandalorian shows up. Cobb Vanth shows up. That's right. I love him. I'm glad he's back. He has a deputy also. He had a deputy, but he's back trying to handle things at Mos Plago, which is now called, was it Freetown? They call her?
Yeah, sounds better.
Whatever. But he's interrupting a Pike spice trade happening. He tries to warn them. Of course, they don't follow him. Kills 3 of them right away. Makes a deal with the 4th, but doesn't save the spices. He doesn't care about that. So seeing him, you guys, you're both the Mandalorian fans also. So what'd you think?
I loved it, but I can completely understand, just a reoccurring bit that was in this episode is that, it can't be as easy as a job to do without that Mandalorian armor.
So. Oh, yeah. Right. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yes, you're right, John.
Yeah. No, I was really hoping that we would see Cobb Vanth on this show. So I'm glad that we have seen him. And I could see right away when I see him interacting with the Pikes. I said, okay, all right, he's going to be involved in this going forward. Here we go. Like, so I thought it was cool to like the way they incorporated him. And I'm just really excited to see him back. I'm happy that he's back and that they're using him, that character more.
They're expanding the universe on Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. So that happens. We get to see him. He does his thing. We got it. Well, Frank and I, what we wanted to see starts to happen. So I'm thinking, okay, Boba Fett's going to start. No, it's the Mandalorian season 3, episode 2. And we see this. We see the ship. We see Mando, and he lands on a planet, looking for this guy. He's over here now. You're impeding my progress. Okay. Looking for Luke and Grogu. So I'm like, oh my god, Luke too. But when he lands, R2D2. What the F?
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, timeline wise, it's fine. I'm like, R2D2, you guys.
Great. I mean, it kind of just signaled like where this episode was going. I mean, there were so many. I mean, it was just every scene. All of a sudden, somebody else, you're like, oh, and they're here too? Oh, they're here too?
Right.
All right.
Right.
That was like that, John. Same thing. We saw R2D2. It's like,
I thought it was weird. I did think it was very weird. And then he just shuts himself down. And then I kind of liked the way they explained it, though, like why he was like why R2 led him where he led him. And then, Ahsoka shows up instead of Luke. And it's like, yeah, he led you to me on purpose because we know that you want to see your friend.
Ahsoka shows up. Okay, Rosario Dawson, nice to see you, I guess. I'm like, why? And like him was like, why are you here? Because I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he was kind of like wanting to say, yeah, bitch, you said you're not going to train him, so why are you here? I'm a friend, whatever. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she said stuff like that of some sort. That why she was there, because she's a friend of the family, she said. I mean, that made me chuckle. Also made me chuckle when he was like, don't go to sleep. Don't power yourself up. Wake up. Wake up. I laughed.
I love that part too, where those droids like built him a little bench.
Yeah, all those spider-like droids built something, and they built him a bench. He's like, that's a bench. I was like, just fucking build me a bench. But when Homeboy powered off, he was like, wake up. I'm like, okay, he's not a person. But yes, Ahsoka shows up, and we're like, okay, hey girl. They of course they know each other, and they're talking. They go for a walk, of course. He has the armor, which later on, when we see what the armor turned into, I chuckled louder than anything on earth. That's another story. I'll put that later. So anyway, but meanwhile, she's with him. But meanwhile, we see, and here we go again. I'm like, Luke and Grogu meditating, and Luke is that, I guess they don't call it CGI. I think it's some other kind of technology, I think it is. But it's his old face on a young body, and it looks so real.
Yeah.
I felt like that. That's what I mean. I decided to let that go as I'm watching the episode, because there were plenty of shots where the quality of that it swung very much. But like, yeah, kind of Mark Hamill, not Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Kind of Mark, sorta Mark. Definitely not Mark.
I felt like you could see there was definite improvement from that final chapter of season 2 where Luke first appeared, because I felt like some of the dialogue and stuff, like just the moving of the mouth and stuff, looked better at times. I agree with you, Frank, that like I felt like it kind of went back and forth. I thought there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, that looked a little weird. But like but I did think that it was much better, like the moving of the mouth with the dialogue at the end of that last chapter of season 2 of Mandalorian. That definitely looked off to me, and I thought it looked better in this episode of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it would be curious just to be there in post with all of them, and just understanding, because some of those sets you're like, why did you let that go by? Because it's clearly not matching up. But whether it's just for the budget that they have is just they can't quite do it on the scale that I know the fans would be like, it needs to be a 1-for-1 of Mark Hamill's face on this guy's body at all times.
Yeah.
But in one sense, I thought it was just like nice because if we're going to see him in other series as that, it just, the more we're seeing it kind of like this, I guess the more we just get used to it. It's like, oh yeah, it's Luke light that we'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah, androids are androids. R2D2 is always with Luke. But still, just again, it's just jarring to see all of a sudden there. I mean, okay, they were off the mark. Yes, I agree. Ahsoka, yes.
Because like with Luke, you mean after the season finale of The Mandalorian, it's like, okay, that was just like our one touch of that character, and just it was cool, and we'll just Grogu will be with him, and that'll be it. But when we went to the planet, you were like, well, it would be natural to see him, and then we see him, you're like, all right, I like it. It's
it makes sense. No, it makes sense. I mean, that's what it should be. But Frank and I were saying this last week when he said, "Go see my little friend first." I was like, "Well, are they going to show it on this show?" So I want to ask you guys, because we're going to go further into the storyline of this. But I just want to ask you: is this cheating folks in The Mandalorian though, or are you still stuck with the part you said, Frank, last week? It's something like the Marvel. You think everybody's watching everything?
I mean, I would like to think everybody's watching everything. I mean, it's not a huge ask in terms of like so many different shows at this point. I mean, certainly when we get Ahsoka and any other series that we add into it, then it starts getting a little bit more scattered. Can everybody keep up with everything? But at least right now, with just nothing else competing against Mandalorian, I'm liking it, and I think the big thing will be to see how Mandalorian season 3 is, and if what we're seeing in this season is kind of an indication how Mandalorian could be, then then it's like, all right, cool, yeah. Then it's just like, kind of a thematic, or at least kind of some thematic tone about one character, but we still will touch all these other characters we've been following so far in all these stories.
Yeah,
that's true, because I mean, we saw which one later too. We saw characters from the Clone Wars that were in Rebel. I mean, like, we're seeing, we'll be watching everything. Yes, I'm watching everything too. I'm not saying that, but not everybody does. I'm just saying, I do shows where they don't watch all 4 soap operas. They watch one. They may watch 2. That's it. They don't watch all of them. Or they watch Big Brother, but they don't watch Survivor. Or they watch Amazing Race, but they don't watch Big Brother. Like, it's not. I mean, I don't want to assume everybody's watching. So I'm just curious.
John doesn't talk to people.
What's that?
He doesn't talk to people that
exactly.
That don't watch Survivor and Big Brother. You don't do that. Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So John, so now your turn. About your thoughts on that? Is it? Are we cheating the folks on Mandalorian, or come on, Mandalorian, watch Boba Fett and then just screw it? You have to watch it,
right? Like, it's just interesting because I expected to see the Mandalorian on this season at some point.
Of course, yeah.
But these are. I feel like these are big events. Like we saw him get a new ship. We saw him go to the planet where Luke is training Grogu. Like, I feel like those were things I expected. And in one way, it makes me excited for The Mandalorian, because it makes me feel like whatever they have planned for season 3 must be incredible. Because if we don't even have to bother watching him, get a replacement for the Razor Crest, if we don't even have to bother watching him go back to the planet that Luke's got Grogu on, there must be a lot going on in season 3 of this show. And there probably is, because we've seen we know that Mando's got the Darksaber. We know, he's got connections to Bo-Katan and other characters, and so seeing this on the Book of Boba Fett almost makes me even more excited for season 3 of The Mandalorian. So in a way, I guess as a Mando fan, I don't even feel like I'm being cheated necessarily. I guess I don't know.
I want to write a Grogu spinoff. I want to do a Grogu spinoff where we see him training as a Jedi. I'll write it.
The adventures of Luke and Grogu.
Grogu.
And
there you go. That's the title right there, John. The Adventures of Grogu. All people will tune in. Let me write it, folks. Come on, Dave Filoni, come get me. I'll write it.
Yeah, and the whole show is just Luke running around and jumping with Grogu in a backpack.
Yeah, why not?
While Grogu tries to force eat frogs.
Exactly. What we just saw. Basically, what we saw was, it's basically he wants to fry. Grogu's always hungry. He's a baby. He's always a growing boy. He's always hungry. Luke does share. So talk about Yoda. it's about Yoda, and size matters not. He goes, that's how he talked. I love it. Somebody in chat room says, GG Chinny says, the YouTube deep fake guy Shamook, who redid the Luke face in Mando season 2 on YouTube, was hired by Lucasfilm last year. He is responsible for this better version we saw last night. Well, tonight. Was Grogu there when Ben Solo killed the other? Anyway, so he likes frogs and all that. They're talking about Yoda. They're having a talk. And we get a little piece of Grogu's past. I was like, we got that too happening. It's like, he's all, let me help you remember. Oh, excuse me. I got a Grogu. Let me reenact for you. Let me help you remember. And then we see little Grogu just like scared as clone troopers are killing Jedi. There's 3 Jedi. So he's back of them and they're coming towards him. And he's like, no more. I'm done. That's it. We don't see anymore. We got a piece of his history. Just worried about that.
Yeah. That was just another thing that I didn't expect to see was getting to see Order 66 carried out from the perspective of Grogu. Like what? Like what's happening? Yeah, that was very interesting, and I was really hoping, and maybe we'll get it at some point. I was hoping we were going to see whoever scooped Grogu up and rescued him. You know, there's
still mystery, right? No, we don't know who got him. There's still mystery. So I'm like, that could be on Mandalorian. That could be on Ahsoka. That could be on some show on Kenobi, or who knows? I mean, at this point, who knows where the story's going to go? At this point, even on anything, Frank.
I mean, we all know it was Mace Windu who survived his dive out of the window, and he struggled back right the last second to swoop up Grogu. We all know.
I wish Andy was. If you can give me some Samuel L. Jackson, I'll take some Samuel L. any day. So Samuel L. on one of these shows, I'll be happy. Who are the Jedi? Remember, he was sitting there looking. They were fighting the clone troopers. Their backs. We don't know who they were. Their backs were to us. They got killed. Yeah. So we don't know who they are exactly. But anyway, Mace Windu, I'll take it. I'll take it. Mm-hmm. I'll write that spin-off series too. You want me to do this show? I'll write that one too. Meanwhile, while Mando's taking a nap, apparently. It took that long. Ahsoka is there, so we see them, and so what they do is they're building a Jedi school basically, and which falls into the line of what I guess Luke would do, and to train he would be the first students. We found out that later what that means. Everybody's going for a walk. He's being reminded once again by Ahsoka that your attachment is very strong. Grogu misses you, and if he sees you, it'll make it harder for it. I feel like this is a total parent move. When my daughter I had to walk her to school, and I remember the first time I had to leave her there. I don't know if you remember this too for yours. It was rough a little bit at first for her because she didn't want me to leave. And I remember just going, I gotta step out. I'll be over here. I'll be right outside. I tell lies to the kids. I'm like, oh well, I'll be right outside. That's right. I'll be watching you. And I was at home having a drink. No, but I mean, just like it reminded me of this whole parent thing of like having to let go, having to stay afar, having to let them be so they become who they want. So how do you feel about all that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it also comes down to it's are you doing it for yourself? Are you here for yourself? Or are you here for them? And what's the what's the selfish or what's the best move to do in that situation?
Yes, John.
Yeah. I wrote down while I was watching this, I said, Mando not getting to see Grogu is making me emotional, but like, I get it. I was surprised that he even got as close as he did. Honestly, I was like, what are they just throwing this rule out the window now? And then once Ahsoka showed up and kind of like told Mando, like, this is the deal. Like, come on. I was like, okay. But I just wanted to, I wanted to, I really, really wanted them to get to see each other, but I knew it wasn't going to happen.
So basically, we'll fill that. Let me fill that part in first before we talk about that. So, like Frank said, the armor. He's like, he will at least give this to him. Mm-hmm. I want the kid to be okay. He kept saying the word. Everything you have to count everything in the dialogue. He kept saying he's a foundling. This goes, well, maybe now he's a Padawan.
Yeah.
To go in that direction. Now we're up to the part where we're at the part of, yes, we see it. He sees him from afar. He actually sees him across the way. And he hands the little thing to Ahsoka. But when Mando flies off, Luke and Grogu are looking. So I want to ask you, Luke knew who it was, right? But Grogu didn't. Or did Grogu know who it was? I couldn't tell if he was knowing or not.
I wonder if he felt it.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling Luke knew who it was.
Yeah.
Because later when he talks to Ahsoka, he says that way, he was here. Yeah, I think.
It is interesting. I think, like because it's always the big thing with the Jedi, you can't have those attachments.
Right.
So you have to kind of let those go. And yet, once you're in the Jedi, you're with as a Padawan, you're with your master. That's a very close bond between that. And then at some point, you hopefully become a master, and then you have a Padawan. That is a close bond. You become close with all your other fellow Jedi. So you do form those attachments, but within that culture. So I'm always just curious, like how is that different than having attachments to outside?
Right.
Maybe it's just because you can't quite focus on your learning the Force properly, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Frank reminds me of like a lot of why superheroes can have attachments to like regular folks a lot of times because the whole thing of like that could be your Achilles heel, so maybe that can hurt you, right? It's that kind of I'm thinking it's maybe something like that, where the Grogu can't really turn to a Jedi because of his attachment. I don't know, something he can't. It's about not focusing. I don't know.
That's what I tell everybody around me. Sorry, I can't get close to you.
I know Frank 7 years. I don't know who the F he is. Yeah. So Ahsoka. So then Ahsoka comes, shows up to Luke, and they're talking, and then she leaves. She's like, "Bye, I'm done. Thanks for the episode. I'm gonna go home now." And for my series, she didn't say that, of course. But he says, "Will I see you again?" So I'm like, that's setting up. That's Frank. That's setting up for other shows. He can show up over there too now.
Yeah.
Which I hope, because this is the first time you're seeing these two characters together, which I
Yes.
think anybody is jazzed about seeing. I was just waiting for that moment to see them actually on screen together sharing dialogue, and I was jazzed to get that. But it's also felt like the scene just didn't give me what I wanted. This is where the one scene that I felt kind of let down, because there's so much I'd want to hear those characters talk about, especially for Luke having so many questions up from Ahsoka about knowing her father, way before anything happened for his fall from grace and becoming Darth Vader. To get that, I wanted to hear them just talking about that.
Because you said you think it's just like your father.
Yes, and I just wanted more. Give me more of that.
Come on, we had one line of my man. Come on.
And that I agree with you, Frank. That one line, though, for me, when she was like, "Oh, just like your father," I was like, "Woo." I was like, I want more, because you're so right. Like, give me more of this. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I can only hope that on Ahsoka that he shows up there, because I think that is a relationship that is really interesting that I would love to see explored more. I never thought I'd get that ever, and now you're giving it to me.
Right.
You can't just give me this little bit.
Well, see, I think that this type of thing could be like a little bit of a tease. I think that Filoni and Favreau are smart enough that even just this conversation where you get that's just like your father, and then all right, I'm leaving, and Luke being like, "Oh, am I going to see you again?" Like, that makes me feel like we are going to get more of the two of them together, and we're going to hear her talk about Anakin, and
she was all, "The Force be with you, peace out," and then she was like, gone.
Just getting a bunch of Jedi interruptus on this.
Now that's a new word to add to the vocabulary. Jedi interruptus. I love that. Right. So yeah, I agree with both. Frank, you're spot on. I was like, yeah, I wanted more. Never thought to see these two characters together. It was a trip, but I was kind of let down to a little bit. It was just like whatever. So it's fine. But that was okay. So at this point, we are 26 minutes, almost a half an hour into the series. Where the F is Boba Fett? I was like, what is going on? I was looking at the camera like this. Where is it? Where is he? Is he under a rock? Where is he? 26 minutes in, you guys. But a half an hour. We are in the series, and there's no Fennec. There's no Boba. There's no Rancor. There's no Jabba. There's nothing going on. Then Mando flies back to Mos Espa. And we see the whole squad standing there over this hologram thingy. And it's Fennec talking about needing more muscle still. And Boba Fett, Frank, what did Boba Fett do in that scene?
I mean, it just gave the little nod. That was it. Spoke volumes. It was powerful.
Whatever, Frank. Boba Fett did not speak. He did not speak. Hell. There's no Boba Fett. It's his show. And he didn't say a god dang word. It should have been, I'm sorry, folks. It should have been him talking. And everybody else shutting the F up. It should have been him telling what needs to happen and what the F is going on. Not
that's the power move, James. That's a power move when you let the others talk for you. Like, we all know I'm in charge, but I don't need to talk. Somebody else will do the talking.
Yes, I know that Tamura Morrison's getting paid or whatever each episode. He's like, I'm getting paid, so that's fine. I'll stand here and nod. I'll do the classic nod for Frank. But I'm saying in the book of Boba Fett should be talking. It's gonna be 2 episodes since he said anything or appeared.
Yeah, what it sounds like
that. See, that's what's weird about it to me. Like, if this episode didn't come after an episode where we not only didn't hear from Boba, but we literally didn't even see him once. Like now we get an episode where we see him for a few seconds and he doesn't say anything. And that's what's weird about it to me. It's like, I feel like it's 2 weeks where we haven't gotten anything from Boba in the book of Boba.
Right. Hey, go ahead.
I know, but that's what's funny about it too, is that I've loved both episodes, but like we haven't seen the main character of the show.
Just think that the mayor's assistant had more lines than Boba.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
He did. I'm like, what? And it's like, we need foot soldiers. And once again, Mando's like, I'll handle that. So he goes off to see Cobb. Yeah. So they're reunited, of course. The deputy is like being whatever. But he's like, I need your people. Basically, I need your people. They're good people. They're foot soldiers. Let's do this. Cobb's like, I'm not really, I don't know. I'll take care of things. They're not bothered. Everybody's on this show's like, they're not bothering me. So much like life. But yeah, so he's like, okay. But then after Mando leaves, it's all about, he's like, well, let's get them all together, just in case. Mm-hmm. But then, cameos aren't done, kids. But then a shadowy figure with a big, wide brim hat. When I saw the brim hat, I go, wait a minute. And it was, and I want to say something, that sequence was amazing. It was suspenseful. He's like, get in there. Even the one person that had more lines than Boba Fett. He's like, Joe, yes. Get out inside. He had more lines. The deputy had more lines. But the shadowy figure comes closer and closer and closer. And I was like, wait a minute. Is that homeboy that I think it is? The head down, of course. You can't see. He kept saying, and what is your name? And what is your name? He didn't say it like that, but he was kind of getting there. What is your name? I'm like, is that Bane? And when he lifted his head up, ta-da! A cameo! I'm here. Okay, folks, go at it.
I loved it, man. They've done such a great job, just like with Ahsoka, Bane, just taking those animated characters and bringing them to live action and being just as excited to see them. And like, they look great. Just like, it's phenomenal.
John?
Yeah. I love Star Wars when I see how everything connects. Like George Lucas says, right? Like it rhymes. Everything rhymes. Like it's. See, we were watching the Book of Boba Fett tonight. Saw a ton of Mando footage. At times, it felt like I was watching the Clone Wars,
right?
Between Ahsoka and Cad Bane, and I just love that I can watch brand new Star Wars that we've never seen before, and it connects with everything else in the universe. And the fact that we have the Skywalker Ahsoka connection, but tonight in Book of Boba Fett, it wasn't Anakin and Ahsoka, it was Luke and Ahsoka. Like, what is happening? It just blows my mind. Seeing Cad Bane, this made me so happy.
So they had a high noon moment. I don't know how I can describe it. If you know who Cad Bane is, he was in Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and a few other things. He showed up here over there things. And so mostly live, mostly animation. So you're right, it's cool to see. And Ahsoka 2 was animation for a while too. So it's good to see her and see them as live action. So it's a whole moment, but he's like, come on, the spice people are, not good. They go back and forth. He's like, I'll match you whatever the Mandalorian, offer. Just stay quiet and let it play out. We ain't playing out. And that deputy was too trigger happy. He was ready. He was in the corner there ready. And he told him to go inside. He warned him. He said, go inside. Deputy was like, no, I'm gonna stay outside. And that sequence was so suspenseful. They're all just standing there. Their hands are near their guns. And I was like, what's gonna happen? And he's over there. And he's right there. And he's right there. And I'm like, it was so well done. And then Bane shoots them both. Are they dead? They just left them. We don't even know what's going on. They left another scene.
Well, but it looked like good old Timothy Olyphant only got hit in the shoulder. So I think it's just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. But what I did like about that scene, though, is that these are characters that we've come to know and love within the TV side of things, and they're not part of like the big Skywalker-esque big picture where what's happening to them in the later films or anything. So anything can happen to these characters. So that was a truly. I was like, are they going to kill him? Are they not? It's great to be able to have that kind of suspense about characters you're not unsure of their future in the Star Wars universe.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we switch scenes. So I feel like it was a cliffhanger of sorts, like just switch scenes. Now here's a scene I thought of Frank Moran the whole time when this happened. It's a short scene back at the sanctuary. There's beautiful Jennifer Beals as her character. I know, Frank, I thought you're laughing because I thought of you this whole time. Jennifer Beals is her character. And it's a regular night at the sanctuary. And everybody's just dancing and talking. Then a bomb explodes right behind her. She dead, right? That's it, isn't it?
She had a little fun, cashed a little check, got to wear a little makeup, got that Star Wars cred. She got her conventions booked up for the rest of her life. She's good to go.
I told Frank, I seriously, when that happened, I went, oh my God. Because Frank, you ever watch this show, this show all season, we kept saying, it's Jennifer Beals. Like, she's a name. Like, they're going to probably do something with her. I was like, oh yeah, they'll do something with her at some point. I thought she'd be here at the end. Something big would happen. No, bitch is just blown up. She's blown to bits.
Yeah, that's what they did with her. They just blew her up.
I'm hopeful she somehow survives.
Okay,
that can't be it for her, right? She got that one monologue.
Right, that was it.
There's no way they brought her in just for that. She's maybe she's dead. I don't know. That was a big.
I said it all season. We saying this. I mean,
that was a big explosion. I don't know.
It was a big explosion. My thing is, like Frank said, she cast. I come on, Star. I'll do anything. Shit, I mean, she's good to go for a while. She get an action figure made out of her or whatever. She's good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go either way with this. It could be she's dead now, or she shows up in the big final battle when somebody else is about to get killed, and she shows up to save that person and be like, yeah, that's what you think you can blow me up? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So it could go either way for me on this point.
That's true. Because again, that happens. They go to another scene. Like, it's like, they're just doing it. We'll shoot them, blow up them. Let's go to the last scene of the episode. Still no Boba Fett. I'm thinking he's gonna come at the end. Is it gonna happen? I'm looking. Are you here, Boba? Are you here? No. It goes back to Luke and Grogu. Yeah. I'm like, what show is this? I'm confused. So the gift. Okay, Frank, John. When he pulled out that mesh top, I was like, is this from International Mail in 1985? I'm like, I think I wore that at a gay pride parade or something. What was that? What was that? It's a chain link thingy. It was like, it's like a shirt or something. Like, what?
It reminded me of like that little armor a knight would put underneath like their actual steel plated armor or whatever.
I thought it was the oddest thing that I've seen.
It's not what I was expecting.
Sure.
Definitely not what I was expecting.
Frank, what do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we saw the little rings when it was during the forging of this. So
Did you expect that, Frank? Did you expect a shirt?
I mean, what else could it be though? I mean, a nice hat, a shield.
A shield, yes, a shield. I take a shield, Frank.
I think last week we were also mentioning an amulet, possibly of some kind.
Yeah, something put around his neck or whatever. I mean, none of my Grogu's have their thing on. Shit. Oh, they don't have them on. But he wears a little thing around his neck. So I don't know. I was thinking maybe something like that to protect him. That was weird. But basically, he has to make a choice. The cliffhanger doesn't end on Boba Fett. It ends on him. The lightsaber that was owned by Yoda, or the mesh top that you wear at a gay pride parade. Which one you get to choose? And you choose one, you may never see your father again, so to speak, which is, of course, Mando. But this one,
yeah, I don't know. I can understand that the big picture reason for that choice, but another part of me was like, well, can't you just be the sum of all your parts? That you had part of being with Mando was kind of got you to this point, and now you're a Jedi, but you can't is there a way to kind of combine those two together? Does it have to be a one or the other? But also, again, this is another character we have no idea what Grogu's future is in the Star Wars universe. So at this point, the story could go either way, and if he made either choice, I could buy it and would be interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's the question: where we're going to find out?
I'm sure next week.
So you think on this show we're going to find out this? So is Grogu going to be part of the fight? I mean, he's going to come fight. I mean, what's going on? We're going to find the answer, but it won't be on some other show. Like I'm confused. I'm confused.
Well, I mean, unless Luke shows up and just says, "Oh, here I got a delivery for you. It's Grogu." By the way, let me kill a couple of these guys with my lightsaber while I'm here. All right, bye.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they're setting this up for Grogu's got this choice to make? What's he gonna do? And he chooses the armor. So now Luke says, "Okay, I told you if you pick the armor, you have to go back with the Mandalorian. So I'm gonna bring you back now." And he's gonna show up to Tatooine, and there's a huge fight going on. So Luke's like, "Okay, I'll help out." But what's gonna happen now? Where do we go from here? Ending the episode on Grogu making the choice is very interesting. Why would you even show that? I was surprised that we went back to this planet to see Luke and Grogu to begin with. Right. It just seems odd to include that, and then Grogu's just like, "Oh, I'll pick the lightsaber and stay with you. Never mind."
Right.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, true, John. I mean, you were even talking about it last week too, as when we have that area of his ship kind of carved out for Grogu. So I mean,
yeah,
seems weird to even throw that in there. For if it wasn't going to be used. I mean, I don't know if it's just worth it to do a scene where it's like, I don't have them anymore, so I don't need that.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, what do you guys find would be more interesting? Would you rather see him back with Mando doing stuff?
Of course.
Or would you rather see him learning more about the Jedi?
You see, that's the thing. I feel like I want to see Grogu every week on a show. On the next season of Mandalorian, I want to see Grogu every week. I do. But I also, there's a big part of me that wants to see Grogu get trained by Luke Skywalker and become the next great Jedi and all that, but I also feel like I don't think that, let's say Grogu decides I want to go back with Mando. I mean, who trained Rey really? I mean, she was already becoming a Jedi before she went and found Luke. You know what I mean? There are people that can. I don't see that Grogu could never become a Jedi if he decided I want to go back with the Mandalorian right now. But I don't know. The whole thing's just weird to me. He feels like he should be a Jedi, and he feels like he should be training with Luke. But I want him to go with Mando.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the challenging thing with this character is his aging process. I mean, everybody loves this cute, adorable creature that is Grogu, but I mean, he ages so slowly.
Yeah.
That I mean, it's tough to. I mean, if you want to see him in another series, he's just going to be this, even if it's in a Jedi series or with Mando. We're going to get just this kind of version of Grogu. I mean, if you wanted to do a series, set, but I mean, even figuring out the timeline of when Luke's Jedi Academy falls with Ben and all that. I mean, I don't think there's maybe 10, 15 years, maybe that happens. So I mean, who knows how old Grogu would be at that point? And assuming that he gets away from that, I mean, what is he like physically? Are we, is he interesting enough that you could do a show set in that time period where he's, kind of the lead of his own show? I don't know.
We don't know either. When me and Grogu are just like, Grogu, tell me what's going to happen next. I feel like this character got so big, and I think they had an inkling it would be big, that I was shocked when they got rid of him end of season 2. So I feel like all those things you just mentioned is for him to go back season 3 and be his sidekick.
I mean, I would rather it go this way than to have it always be like, oh, we got to come up with some other reason why they haven't reached out to a Jedi or anything like that yet, or try to figure anything, or get him back to his people. So, I mean, I do like that the show kind of like, nope, this kind of, we can keep moving forward on this story.
Yeah.
I would be curious if they kind of go backwards and have him back with Mando, or, continue him down this path. I mean, if you guys think that going back to Mando is a backward kind of story choice with him.
I don't think it's backward. I don't.
I don't think so either.
I mean, it's just a choice. It's a choice. It's not. I don't think you're wrong either in thinking. I just think it's just not. I think it could be. I think some folks would agree with you if I say it is backwards, and folks would think it's just he belongs with Mandalorian. But it'd be a different kind of story, because remember the first 2 seasons were him protecting him. Now Grogu knows who he is, so maybe he's on a journey of discovery along with Mandalorian, and maybe we get more answers, on Mandalorian about Grogu as he advances. Maybe Mando does end up training him and making him better.
Yeah, maybe, but he's also just limited by just who he is right now in terms of just size. I mean, sure, he could learn more powers and stuff, but I mean, it's still going to be this little tiny puppet that, kind of wears like too big of a robe. That just seems so unwieldy in terms of trying to walk. It's too big. It's too big.
So funny.
It's like, come on, we could come up with a more form-fitting, lighter outfit option for you, Grogu.
Yeah,
that form-fitting. Finds that fits him. Come on, that's the baby.
Yeah, so I just worry that in season 3 we're gonna get a lot of the same kind of beats where it's like, Grogu's really hungry. What's he gonna eat this episode? Or we're really in a big dangerous situation. Grogu, channels some of the Force to get him out of it, and then falls asleep or whatever he does. So, I would worry having it back with Mandalorian. I worry we would hit those same kind of beats again.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's totally gonna happen. I just these 2 episodes of Boba Fett have now made me feel, in a good way and in a different kind of way, anything can happen in this universe now. Any show, they could do 5 shows and no Ahsoka in it. I mean, they could just, at this point, they just show Mandalorian in it. I mean, now that they've done this has shown us, because I know that I've seen shows that do standalone episodes, who do crossovers, all that stuff, but usually that person's in there somewhere. The leads are in there somewhere. This is the first time I've seen it where the lead is not in there. Yeah. It's just so. I'm just wondering, and hopefully they'll come up with some behind the scenes, because they're usually good behind the scenes stuff. I love to hear from Dave and from John why they made this choice for 2 episodes when it's only a 7-episode series.
Right. That's more than a quarter of the series.
Right. It's kind of like, to do this, to make this choice. I'm going to hear, because I'm a writer myself. I want to hear why they chose to take 2 full episodes and have no Boba and really no Fennec, which you just did for a second each time, and no this. I was so curious, and because I know they're setting up for the end, so there better be the hugest, biggest, glorious fight on Earth this next episode, because the way they set this all up, I mean, I want to see big payoff. I want to see something with Boba that's so huge that when we come back on next week, we're like, oh. I mean, I want either a cliffhanger, or I want to boo-hoo my eyes out. I want something that's going to be I mean, now that's the scary part. I want to see something as spectacular involving Boba now.
Right.
We've seen they can do others. They can do good television. We see. I mean, you're right. Both these episodes were really good for their content, but we came to see Boba.
Right.
So, give me some Boba.
Yeah, I don't even just want like an episode that, you know, you see Boba's face the whole time or whatever. There needs to be like a real clear like moment of glory for Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
We've gone 2 full weeks without seeing him for more than 3 seconds in this last episode. Like, Boba needs to be on screen for the majority of this next episode, and he has to be the badass that we all know and love. You know, like, people have been wanting him to be that badass. They felt like he's soft, but the show is slow. And this is the one time that I've liked most of the history we've gotten and the storytelling we've gotten so far. But this is the time when I would agree with those people that they want Boba to be that badass that we know, that we need it, especially after 2 episodes of barely seeing him at all. We need a big episode, a big moment for Boba here.
Frank?
Yeah, because it's like right now, I really have no reason to think that Boba could win against the Pikes. I just haven't felt what the season has shown us so far of Boba. I mean, it's been on the losing end of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I at least right now as a viewer, I'm like, man, I don't think Boba can actually really pull this off. They haven't given me any inkling along the way to think like, okay, they might not have muscle, but boy, Boba's got a great strategy. He's going to be very shrewd. He's got a lot of different. He's already set plans in motion that we don't even realize that in the final battle, everything kind of comes to fruition. We're like, oh, geez, he had this planned all along. Man, this guy's smart. I haven't even felt like that yet. So, it's a shame that I don't feel like, oh man, guys, you made a mistake going up against Boba Fett. I wish I could feel like that, and yet I'm also just like, you could actually beat this guy, maybe. I don't know.
And chatter was brought up, or will this be the only season of Boba Fett?
Well, it might be the only season of a called The Book of Boba Fett, but I mean, it's certainly not the last we've seen of Boba Fett.
Right.
I mean, certainly, this season I think has been an example. I mean, I'm sure we'll see him, either Mandalorian season 3, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But also if again, like a second season of it, I think again a mistake calling it a Boba Fett show. If they just came up with just some kind of just general kind of anthology title where it's like, this is a season where all these characters are going to find their way into a storyline and touch bits and pieces of it. Not necessarily the whole every episode, but just kind of as you kind of weave your way through it, and then we tell it to an end, and you call it like a big umbrella name, then I think people would be like, yeah, awesome, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's your Boba Fett after show of a show that basically even talked Boba Fett this time. So that's it, kids. Thank you so much for listening to this. All you audio people, I got to tell you, my heart is full that you guys have found us and you are listening to us. So we appreciate it very much. Hope your ear holes are okay. I did a lot of screaming today, so sorry. I was worked up. I had coffee. I was worked up. But next week, the finale. Season finale, I guess. Or series, who knows? But season finale next week. So we'll be back here again, 8 o'clock, 6 standard time here on JLJ Media, because I'm very scared. I'm scared, Frank. John,
do you think somebody doesn't make it out of this alive?
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm afraid we only see Boba Fett for the last 5 minutes. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. If I tell you, Frank, if this episode opens with anybody else but Boba Fett in it, I'm nervous. I'm nervous, you guys.
I'm not giving up on my thing that he's gonna be riding that Rancor. It's gonna,
Frank. I almost want it not to happen because I want to see Frank go off. I want to see Frank lose his shit because the Rancor wasn't written. That's what I want to see.
I will burn this place to the ground.
Exactly. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Well, that's why we haven't seen Boba the last 2 weeks. He's been training with Danny Trejo.
There you go.
Yes.
Danny Trejo having Trejo's donuts. That's what happened. Having donuts and Trejo's tacos.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. And training the Rancor. Yes. So when he comes out, the big moment, right? That's what Frank wants to see. He wants to see it, Frank. Come on, Dave Filoni, you guys. Come on, don't let him down. Don't let him down.
Yeah. And it's just also weird that I feel like we haven't gotten any sense of the Pikes. Like in terms of just like, we talked about this last week too. Their figurehead. Are they going up against one individual in particular? Or are they just gonna knock him off of Tatooine and that's enough?
No.
Are the Pikes big enough that even if they get lost off of Tatooine, that's not gonna stop them? I have no idea.
That's what Frank, that's what I'm saying. These 2 episodes are to cut out 2 episodes where that all could be explained. It could be a whole episode where it could be explained. This should be the episode that could be explained.
Yeah.
Just show us how bad the Pikes are. And show us not little pieces and things, but like show us why we should be nervous about them. Because again, homeboy, just killed them like it was nobody's business. I mean, I don't see how scary they are. I mean, Cobb was like bang, 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 and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not afraid. Yes, John.
I did like seeing Cad Bane get involved this week though, because that was something. Because I was wondering, like, is this it? It's just the Pikes as this big syndicate, and they're the big bad, the scary people. And I don't know, just seeing Cad Bane walk through the desert up to Cobb Vanth there, that added something to me for the side of the villains in the show. And I feel like we're gonna find. I could be wrong, but I do think that there is somebody in there that hired Cad Bane to come in and help be the enforcer for the Pikes. I think we're getting. I expect my mind to be completely blown next week.
I almost hope it isn't. So I can see you guys both lose your shit. I want to see it here live on television. I want to see it. No, I want the best. Trust me, I want to see I want to be entertained so heavily that when we get on here, we're buzzing with excitement to talk about it. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out. And that's no speculation, kids. Well, go ahead.
I just feel like there's a lot. I'm wondering what the runtime of this last episode is going to be of this season. Because I feel like, you had Cobb Vanth get shot, but like, he was very reluctant when Mando was asking him for his offer, but he kind of told that bartender or whatever, like, hey, gather up all the men and women that can fight. So you can tell that he was already thinking about it. Now he's gotten shot. So I feel like, are we going to see them organizing? Are we going to see, Luke and, Grogu's got to make his decision? I feel like there's cliffhangers that we were left with, but there's so like the war that we're expecting hasn't, like, we haven't really gotten anything about that. Like,
will Jennifer Beals dance for her life and do a flash dance? Who knows? It's completely, we have no idea.
It's really all over the place.
It's all over the place again with no Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure inside her club she had reached up and pulled down some water to fall onto her and shield her from the explosion.
He's a maniac. I mean, I'm done, you guys. This is the Book of Boba Fett after show. I'm getting more angry. I can't talk about it anymore. Book of Boba Fett after show. We're here on JLJ Media. Find us where you find your podcast. Find us on YouTube at there. John Dunphy, you started your new show tonight. Big Brother started tonight. Celebrity Big Brother started. So where can they find you?
That's right. Yeah, Celebrity Big Brother Season 3. So we are Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast hosted by me, my buddies Kyle Petty, Gino Morgino. You can find us at BB Jury Duty on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me at JDon89 on Instagram and Twitter.
And he is a wonderful piano player and singer. You are very good. So
thank you very much.
He's very good. Frank Moran and I will see us on Sunday talking crap about General Hospital as usual. Our other big hit show we do here on J. It's all about Frank. I'm trying to tell it's all about Frank.
Yeah, I only do hits, guys. That's all I do. I don't slum it. No.
He's like, well, Frank, tell them where they can find you.
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Let's talk about this ridiculous stuff. John, before we go, given only seeing the first episode, who's your pick for Celebrity Big Brother champion?
God, honestly, that's so hard. That's so hard. I am really rooting very hard though for Lamar Odom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it next. After I get off of here, I'm gonna be watching it. So, I'm gonna watch it and see just to kind of see. I'm rooting for Tom Bridges. What Will's talking about. What Will's talking about. Where my shirt the other day. Anyway, bye, you guys. We'll see you next time.